5 steps for incredible endgame power as soon as you hit level 100. This is my fresh 100 Rogue, and this is Uber Lilith completely getting obliterated. Yes, Rogue is quite powerful. And after being 100 for 2 hours, he's already clearing pit 100s. Crazy. Step number 1, the most important one, Paragon Glyphs. And here I do have a little trick for you too. Paragon Glyphs have 2 stages, that is level 21 and level 15. Level 15 is the most important one. This is turf level 1, and it needs 25 strength to activate. That's kind of working, and it would get stronger the more strength nodes it has. But there's barely any strength node it can take, especially not even get those magic nodes. Well, if this now levels up to level 15, like my exploit glyph is already, then the radius is bigger, which means that we're automatically getting more stat points in and more vulnerable damage just by leveling up to the 15 breakpoint. But why now get them to 21? Currently, this glyph is giving me 85.5% vulnerable damage plus. That's my main damage. And it's giving me 7.9% damage per 5 strength. On level 15, that only would be 6.2% bonus damage. Yeah, which means on level 21, we're getting tons of bonus damage for free. Why for free? Because we have it activated anyways. I mean, you have your strength points now put in. You have 54 strength points activated. And every level of this glyph over 15 is then adding free bonus damage to make you more powerful. Step number 2, tempering the right way. And no, we're not talking about the weird pity mechanic copium tempering where you're trying to somehow make it work by tempering another weapon and then tempering the other weapon. That doesn't work. I'm sorry. It's make-believe. What we're talking about is choosing the right things to temper first. For Rogue, it's actually incredibly hard. For Necromancer, easier. Let me show you Rogue. This is now a crossbow. What I would need on the weapon is, first and foremost, Heartseeker to cast twice. That's a 1 out of 5. We're going to do the free temper first because it doesn't cost me anything. I did get Heartseeker cast twice. That's perfection now and works good to point out what I'm going to do. On the offensive tempering, I do need Vulnerable. Vulnerable is now together with 3 other things I don't need. So let's temper that too for free. And I got Vulnerable. Wow, this is a problem now because I did hit 2 things perfect. I'm done here. We don't need to temper further. Let's take another item. This is a sword. And in this case, I would need the Caltrop duration. So let's temper this first. We get traps, good. And then I would need vulnerable damage as well, which we're not getting. Perfection. So we didn't hit both things. But which of these 2 things I need 100% and which one is optional? This one is really for you to discover. For example, on my bow, there is no optional. I need the Heartseeker and the vulnerable, else the item is bricked. On the sword, it's a bit more forgiving. Because on the sword, if I'm not getting the Caltrop size, I could get the Caltrop duration, I could get the trap's arm seconds faster. And the only thing that would be bad is poison trap duration. So right now, having hit already the trap's arm seconds faster, we're okay. And since we're okay with this, it wouldn't destroy the item if I get that one. We're going to start to roll for vulnerable damage. Because if I now don't get vulnerable damage, I don't want this item. So I'm going to use all the tempers to get the vulnerable damage first. Now we're good. And I have another 3 tempers left. But if I now wasted them before to actually get the Caltrop duration and then try to get the vulnerable, that's going to break the item way more lightly than going for the stat that is optional after you already hit the stat that is a must-have. The same on Necro. What do we want for minion Necro? We want minion attack speed. And if we get Skeleton Mages cast twice or Priest effect duration, that would be horrible. So we're going to try to get attack speed. That's bad. Then we're going to go into the offensive tab, and here we have summoning damage, skeleton mage damage, and golem damage. If we get summoning damage, that's fine. If we get golem damage, that's the best. And if we get skeleton mage damage, that would be but it wouldn't completely ruin the item because the build still profits from it. So worst case scenario, it would work. Wouldn't be the optimal item, but it would work. Now we have summoning damage and skeleton mages. Skeleton mages is obviously not an option. So we're going to try to temper for attack speed. And if we're not getting attack speed, the item is completely useless for us. So we're going through everything and it feels horrible and we're completely ruining this. Boom, boom, boom. And the item is broken. That's it. I didn't get attack speed. I didn't waste another roll also on the offensive tempering, right? That was just the free roll. And that's how it goes sometimes. Broken. But we did it the right way around because you've seen it. I needed every single roll to maybe get the minion attack speed. And if I wasted a single one on the other offensive roll, I wouldn't even have the amount of rolls there. I mean, that's a life on hit item gone. It's a bit sad, but it happens. Now, after temper comes Masterworking on step number 3. And the most important part is make sure that your first 25% hit is good. I do, for example, have this amulet, and I kept tempering it, and this was a mistake because right now it has the maximum life 25% bonus 3 times. That's horrible because where I actually wanted is Golem damage and Hellbent Commander. So I did keep tempering this for no reason. What I should have rather done is step 1, make sure that your Masterwork hits the right thing with the 25%. Right now, it got me critical strike damage, which is fantastic. 4 times done. I don't have to reset this. The boots here, for example, did hit the movement speed after killing an elite. That's stupid. This is straight up a reset in case your item is so good that you're going to keep it forever. Right now, I would rather want to hit the movement speed, the armor, or the maximum life. These are anyways not my good boots, just to make my point. The Golem here did hit Golem Mastery and maximum life. You know what I hit before? Life per second. Instant reset. Because you don't want the life per second. I have 2 Masterworks already on maximum life. That's not horrible, but rather attack speed, ultimate cooldown, or Golem damage. 3 things you would rather have Masterworked over the maximum life because they just profit your build more. You'll get life up anyways, so you don't have to waste the 25% bonus stats. Nah. And make sure that it's your first one, because if your first one already doesn't hit, even if your second one is then good, your third one could be horrible again. This one here in this case is crit chance and crit damage. That's completely fine. If it hit Skeletal Mage Mastery, it would have been nice. But you know what? This is the worst case scenario where it double hit critical strike damage and we just got a nice big boost. Number 3, don't waste your obols. Yes, I see you going to the alchemist and constantly buying yourself holy bolt elixirs. That's okay, but they also do drop in hell tides. What you rather want to do is truly gamble them away at the purveyor of curiosities. And there's one item you're going to be looking for, and that is your plus ranks items. For example, I need a necklace with Hellbent Commander and a chest with Golem Mastery. I don't actually need anything else to make this build go super ultra. For my rogue, for example, I need pants with Heartseeker on. Why do you gamble for plus rank items? Because rolling into them is almost impossible. We'll talk about this in a second, why taking your item, like a necklace, and then trying to roll into any of the ranks is a thing you should never attempt. First, back though to the gambling. These pieces are the most crucial ones, the most important ones, and the coolest part about the obol gambling is they can roll as greater affix items. Yes, and not only one greater affix, it's also 2, 3. I mean, look at these chests. We just threw them out spontaneously, and that is intelligence, and that would be life per second. Both are terrible, but even if I get a normal, here, this one, go, perfect. Wow. I mean, if I didn't have a chest, that's it. That's already an item that I could now sell for probably 50 million gold on the marketplace because Golem Mastery is highly thought after, especially since it has only cult resistance that I could reroll into anything I want. And from a 3-stat perspective, it's at least better than this weird one with life per second. Do this until you get the greater affix item you're looking for because it will do the most for your build. Since bonus ranks in a skill are the biggest multiplier ever. We have 8 ranks in here and that's plus 200% damage. Without the 8 ranks, it's only 75. This damage bonus you'll get nowhere else. The same goes for my Heartseeker. It's a 53% damage bonus for 28,000 damage max. And if I do take off my pants here with 4 ranks and Heartseeker, suddenly we're only at a 43% damage bonus. That's 10% damage less for 4 ranks. And some skills are way more severe about that. That would be 30 or 40% damage less for 4 rank. Which brings you to the next one. Rerolling your pants, for example, for another skill rank. And there is a very interesting trick to this. Because if I'm currently trying to reroll this, we have Invigorating Strike, correct? What you have to understand is that there's a weight to it. So we have the upper 10 and we have the lower 10, for example. And the lower 10 are way less likely to appear than the upper 10. So if I'm now going to be rerolling Invigorating Strike, I'm just more likely to get all of these than I'll ever be likely to get one of the lower ones. There's a trick here though, because if you hover over the different affixes to reroll, there is less options, correct? I mean, obviously I have a ranks on this already, so if I reroll maximum life, I couldn't get ranks again because pants can only have one rank stat bonus. Let's take these for example. They have shadow resistance. This shadow resistance could also be resistance to all elements. And the interesting part is, if I'm now rerolling the life per second, correct? Look at the amount of affixes I can only get. Because a pants can only have one resistance stat. These, for example, they have max life, all resistance, and then Heartseeker. So if your pants has all resistance, or any resistance that you actually need, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential affixes you could get are gone. They're not here. That is a way higher chance now to ever roll a bonus skill rank. Now there's still the waiting going on. Again, you're more likely to actually hit max life than you're likely to actually get a bonus skill rank. That doesn't change the fact though, as you can see by the way, how skewed this is, right? We're getting only the others. It doesn't change the fact though, that the chance to get the lower ones is now tremendously higher. And this can be identified for every item piece. And mostly, resistance to all elements makes this so much easier. For the chest, I want Dark Shroud. So this one rerolling right now, yeah, we would be in the unfortunate position to have everything going on. But if you find a chest now that would also have resistance to all elements, just in case you need it, it would be super easy to roll Dark Shroud. My recommendation usually is find the item with Dark Shroud on it, and then rather reroll any of the other stats into maximum life or something else, because rerolling from anything that is not a skill into whatever is easy, but rerolling from armor into a skill is nigh impossible. It's going to just burn through your money. The final one is about survivability. You not getting one shot into the pit. Right now I have 30,000 life and I can do pit 100s very comfortable, but I'm actually missing max life, and that is over my gems. Currently I have a 6% one in here and a 6% one in there. That's another 6% total max life I'm missing for not having royal rubies go on. And yes, I could get even more on my chest, but the rogue is a little bit special because currently I'm getting 200 dexterity plus, which is another 2% dodge chance. And the cool part is you can actually boost your dodge chance as a rogue relatively high. I'm only at 32%. This could be 40% plus, and can avoid damage like this as well. Max life is probably the most important thing you want because damage reduction only does that much for you. Even if you stack all the damage reduction, if you don't have enough life, you're not going to live. And that's why it's so important to find out where do you get the most maximum life from your Paragon board for your class. I mean, these are kind of like no-brainer. This is 2%, 2%, 4%, 4%. So they're kind of given. Rogue, for example, has something super special, and that's on the left side, the no witnesses board, where you have a 9% max life node. Well, it's 9% max life because we're putting Pride in here, which gives a 125% bonus to all rare nodes. If it's level 21, we talked about it. But that's 9% and another 9% if I meet the strength requirement. My mistake was obviously going into this board first instead of this one, then the strength requirement would be lower and I would get another 9% max life. That's crazy, right? Plus obviously the 2 and the 2% max life. The same goes for my Necro. The same goes for my Necro. The number one reason to take the Bone Graft board is so you can actually take this node, Tenacity. That's 8% bonus life, like that. Boom. And you can essentially just go in, unlock a glyph, go out, Tenacity. One and done. Life in any capacity, and we're talking about 35 to 40,000, is more important than any point of damage, because if you're dead, you can't deal damage. And there's another thing that will help you here. That is step 1, the Elixir of Fortitude for another 20% bonus life, but then a second elixir, and that is the Elixir of Anti-Venom with another 15%. And you can stack these on top of each other. Yes, they cost Angel Breath, very expensive. Angel Breath you can have from the Helltide. Where do you get this potion from? Very simple. Bottom left of the map, all the way down in Giacul, there is next to the teleporter in this building. That's the marker. That's the teleporter. There's a quest. If you do this, you unlock the potion from now on for every single character forever. Do this, double potion, maximum life. Any questions left? Any things you would like to know? Drop them in the comments below. And if you're interested in an absolute endgame necro, there's a pit 110 clear without the Holy Bolt, and we'll make that build even better in the next days. or rather the rogue we've been talking about who destroyed Uber Lilith in the beginning, there's the build guide explaining everything from level 1 to 100 plus endgame. Enjoy, and thank you for watching. Appreciate it.